Hey, and welcome to the Climbing Daily Wednesday news show. We've got somebody back in town who's been away for a while, but now she's back.
For now.
What do you mean?
I'm exhausted. I need a holiday.
So you missed some pretty big news last week?
No, I missed some pretty B.I.G news.
Exactly, and that is the first piece of news that we're going to go to. So here's a little story about it. The wait is over. Shortly after we published last week's episode, in fact. So, by this time, you'll all probably know, after his ascent of Project B.I.G, which he live-streamed for the world to see on his YouTube channel, Jakob Schubert graded the route as a 9C and named it B.I.G, B.I.G. Now, you probably already know the details of the route, and if you don't, we recommend you go on YouTube and watch the final livestream. But we thought we would check in to see what the reaction of the world was like on social media. On Jakob's YouTube channel, the praise was coming from fellow YouTubers, with Emil Abrahamsson being very kind and supportive. And Ash Hodson echoed what a lot of us were thinking when he went crazy for the live streaming. Mick Noyes said what a lot of us were thinking, but too afraid to actually say. And with that we go to Stefano being incredibly cryptic, but pretty much confirming that he's going to come along and downgrade the out of B.I.G. Felipe Carmago felt like the name that Jakob came up with had something to do with a hip-hop legend. Knowing Jakob, I'm sure this has some truth to it. UK legend and podcaster getting in early on the downgrade chat, claiming it can't be more than a 9B+. And Andrew Ferroni has obviously climbed a lot of 9Cs because he's seen the footage and he is not buying that this is a 9C. Don't forget about Seb Buoin when it comes to downgrading. Dr. Steen certainly hasn't, and he's kindly tagged Seb in this comment just in case he was thinking about coming along and confirming the grade. Not happy with the 35 minutes spent on the route and the 40-meter endurance fest, Aliens 4254 wanted more. And we'll give the final word to Mr. Adam Ondra, who in a post said that after initially thinking of this route as a 9B+, he supports his best mate Jakob's grading proposition. Nice touch, Adam. So the world has come alight with the news that Jakob has called it B.I.G. I wonder where that came from.
Project B.I.G.
Not notorious?
No, I thought it was more like the Gilmore Girls, and then they cut out the, and it's only Gilmore Girls. You know, make it clean. Anyway, regarding the grade, yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting that Adam actually didn't send the route, but well, has tried it.
Graded it.
But has graded it.
No.
But yeah, 9C. I mean, I think it deserves it. Yeah, it makes sense. Jakob clearly took a whole, if not more than a week, to actually put it out to the world that he thought it was a 9C. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well thought through. And it's not easy to grade at those levels.
Exactly. But like we said, we'll wait Stefano Gasoffi to come to the crag and tell us what he really thinks.
He's already there.
Yeah, so exactly.
I guess he can just pop on it for a while. It's a big project. But yeah, well deserved. Congratulations to Jakob, because that's an amazing achievement. The third 9C in the world. And what's more, Jakob then went along and won the Australian Championships the next week. Austrian, not Australian yet. Australian, sorry. I said Australian, I meant Austrian. I apologise to all the Australian people out there. Yes, he's in the best shape of his life. I think it's just fair that it's a 9C, to be honest. Absolutely. Let's give it to him. I think he deserves a break. But also, I think he's so honest that if he's going to try another 9C or climb another 9C, I'm pretty sure he's one of those climbers that would go back on this ascent and reflect upon it and be like, it is 9C because this other climb took me this long to climb, and or maybe downgrade it himself. But because Adam didn't really think it was 9C. Next up, we'll talk about a route which grade kind of doesn't matter because it's so difficult to grade. In 2016, Chris Sharma put up another ultra-difficult deep-water solo climb, naming it after his daughter Alasha. This route is now known as one of the hardest DWS routes out there. It saw a rare repeat in 2021 by Jakob Schubert, and on that trip, he was trying it with a couple of friends, including Piccolruaz, who came back this year to try it, and after some tricky conditions, he was able to send this iconic test piece. Let's hear more from him.
Hey guys, so I've recently just sent Alasha in Mallorca. This for me is one of my best sends of my life for sure. What attracted me about the route in the first place was just the pure beauty of this king line there sitting above the Mediterranean Sea. The pure line, it's just cut through this amazing wall. There's only these few holds which make it possible to climb. and it's just so aesthetic that I really wanted to try this. And then I've seen Jakob climbing it 2 years ago. I've got to put my hands on it for the first times too, and it just felt really good and amazing from the first goes. So I was really keen to go back and try it more this trip. I was struggling quite a lot with conditions. I knew I could climb it rather soon because I had the moves dialed in quite well, and I knew that I can do the boulder. So I just had to hope for good conditions, which never actually really came. So I had to battle it out with some tricks. I had to put some tin foil on some certain holds, which made it climbable. And so eventually, at the very last day of the trip, I got to finally send the route. So my next plans for deep water soloing are for sure like the other hard routes on Mallorca, such as Espontas and Big Fish. I really want to try those, and I'm already thinking about a trip there next year again. So I'll go back. But also there's so much potential still, and I'm super keen to go develop a bit more. We've also talked about maybe exploring the island of Mallorca, where we've heard that there's a lot of potential too for deep water soloing. So there's so much to do, and I'm really keen to put a lot more work into this special discipline because it's just, to me, is one of the best.
While chatting with Misha, he actually said he has no comment about the grade because deep water soloing routes and grades could be all on their own, so he has nothing to say about it. But comparing two articles on Planet Mountain, one from 2016 and one from 2018-19, they described the route and the crux and the length in like two different ways. In 2016, so according to Chris Sharma, the route has a 8B boulder problem, and it's 18 meters above water. And in Jakob's article, the boulder problem is more like 8A and 15 meters above water. So definitely tamer. But yeah.
Maybe it was high tide and low tide.
Maybe. Good point. Excellent point, Hugo. So yeah, difficult. It's a difficult route to grade, but an incredible achievement for Misha. And well, I can wait to see a longer video about it.
About Misha climbing Alasha.
I mean, anything deep water soloing in Mallorca, I'm just like
is that
trying
your
to
thing?
feed off it. Yes,
that's your
I
jam.
think forever.
Nice. Okay, next up, we've got some news from the French maestro, Seb Buoin. French climber Seb Buoin has made the 5th ascent of Lapsus in Adono, Italy. The route was first climbed by Stefano Gussofi in 2015 and was the first route in Italy to hold the grade of 9B. Since that ascent, the following sends of the route have estimated the grade at 9A+, which Seb seems to go along with. Other ascensionists include Jonathan Siegrist, Giorgio Tomatis, Marcello Bombardi and Adam Ondra. So ironically, we're talking about Stefano Gussofi downgrading routes. This route is his route that has been downgraded by somebody else.
Yeah, but
so it must be hard.
Stefano is the 9C downgrader.
Stefano is the 9C downgrader, okay.
Like officially, he downgraded one.
Okay.
So.
He's got it.
So one is trying, I guess.
Right, next up, yes, what have we got?
Well, we're talking about Adam Ondra, who's back on the 9B counter. Adam Ondra has logged into his 8A.nu another 9B. This time, he made his mark in Croatia, putting up the first 9B in the country. He called it Bijeto, which means it is B. On his Instagram post, he mentions that he gave this name to the line even before sending it. It's actually a variation of Ajeto, a 9A+ route he sent earlier this year. In comparison to Ajeto, Bijeto has a very hard crux section, but on this trip, Adam Ondra was able to stick it on the second day and sent the project on this go. So, joking about slash grades, he mentions that this is a 9B. He's not surprised if somebody else comes along and downgrades it to like a 9A/9A+ /B, because he was joking about slash grades, but maybe scared because of that comment on Project Big that they're gonna come along and downgrade this. But whatever.
There's a lot of downgrading chat in this show.
There has, yeah, because we're talking about Schubert, Adam Ondra, Seb Buoin. Like obviously, they're quite opinionated and have a lot of experience, so it's fair that they say
Can I
their
put a little bit
grades.
of a footnote in? I don't mean to. We keep banging on about Stefano because Sophie being a downgrader. It's a little bit unfair, maybe.
Why?
I don't know. It's just like I feel like we're getting at him a little bit.
I think he's like super jokey about this. I guess.
Oh really?
Yeah, because he downgraded that 9C of Alex Megas, and they're totally buds.
All right, okay.
Like, I'm sure he's okay with it.
Just worried about Stefano. He's a delicate
funny.
flower.
No, he's really funny.
All right, okay, fine.
So
next up, we've got some news from the UK. UKC reports that Molly Thompson-Smith has made a flash ascent of the boulder problem Varna, an 8A in the Lake District National Park in the north of England. This is thought to be the second flash of an 8A by a British woman, after Shauna Coxey did one in 2013, and is an impressive addition to the resume of Molly Thompson-Smith, who has climbed as hard as AB. MTS. She's amazing.
That is the abbreviation of her name. Yes, indeed. I've got more British news, but not from England, but from, well, a British climber that sent something pretty hard up in Norway. As reported on a UKC News, Whittaker has made the first ascent of a multi-pitch trad project in Norway. It's called Crown Royale, and it's located at the Profile Wall in Jøssingfjord in Norway, the same wall of recovery drink. On his Instagram post, he admits that he wasn't expecting to do the full line this season. The line goes through the steepest part of the wall, which is 25 degrees overhanging, and it's a 100-meter long route. And Pete climbed 80 meters with a rope and fought through some extreme rope drag, and then untied and soloed the last 20 meters. He's still thinking about the grade of the route, but so far he told us this.
What has been your most physically challenging climb?
This recent one that I just did, this project, Crown Royale.
So we are patiently waiting for the grade of this route. I did actually see him this weekend, and I kind of right away asked him about it. But he was very polite and, answered with like, oh, I'm gonna think about it. So I guess he's thinking about it. But yeah, just for anybody out there, ropes go longer than 80 meters. There are 100 or 200 meter ropes out on the market. So if you don't feel like free soloing the top bit of this wall, you can get a 100-meter rope and a little extra, since you probably need it to get back down. So 200 meters.
All right, and then you'd have to pull it through, and then what?
Well, I guess he walked off the top. You've been there. How's that crag like?
I haven't been there. Matt's
you haven't been there?
No, Matt's been there.
But you're in the producer notes.
I'm always in the producer notes.
Okay. That's it for the news this week.
Yes.
That's it.
9V counter.
Adam Ondra is on it, and Jakob Schubert. Jakob Schubert is on it with so many points. No, with 3 points. And Adam Ondra gets 1 point. Oh, and then Seb Buoin, but he downgraded the route, so he doesn't get any points.
Shop stuff, and look at all this lovely green stuff. And what does green mean?
That we're in autumn.
That's what you said.
But we're keeping it fresh and green. I don't know. Anyway, we've got all the Edelrid things back in stock, gear. And Edelrid makes some awesome ropes, some awesome quick draws, carabiners. I got this one from the shop because I personally love it. It has this slidey up and down.
Yeah,
it's actually a locking carabiner. It's just not that nice when you're using it in snow and it freezes, because you're like unfreezing some ice. But besides that, I think it's super handy dandy and the easiest and, well, just easiest to open and close system that I've ever tried. But in general, Edelrid gear, Edelrid makes some awesome, like sustainable and long-lasting gear, so we highly recommend it. It's a bit expensive, but it's a worthwhile investment. You want to talk about
what she said? No, it's fine. It's fine. No, I think that was a good
pitch. Wait, I'm not done. I thought you were gonna pick this up. Their carabiners are awesome because the bulletproof range. They're called bulletproof because, well, maybe don't try to put a bullet through them. But they have a little steel insert that doesn't wear down your rope, and the carabiner will wear down over a longer period of time. So be careful with these. They might steal them at the crag.
Awesome.
That's it.
Good.
Get Edelrid things.
Get Edelrid. Hashtag get Edelrid.
Yeah.
Get green.
Get green.
Get bogies. That's it for the shop stuff. For the media stuff, we got an interesting film this week because we got a film from...
I don't know.
You do know.
I do know? I downloaded it, but I forgot the title. It's exotic. It's in Morocco?
Madagascar.
Madagascar.
how fast you can turn.
Ooh. When is this movie coming out?
Tomorrow.
It's on Thursday on the EpicTV channel.
Yes.
The link will be down below. So subscribe to EpicTV so you will watch that movie, and to Climbing Daily since you're at it.
Very good. All right,
Comment of the week.
Do you want to sing?
Do we need to?
Yes. Comment of the week. That's for the Leo fans, Lorenzo fans out there.
Okay.
I've said enough comments this week. I think you should.
You have?
Yeah.
You've said so many comments.
I think you should go for one.
I've got a comment that while watching the show last week, I actually thought about that route, and that was a topic of discussion. But the comment is from, oh boy, Giovanni Buitzan-Vanzini, 34444. Zeni's ascent, maybe, probably, since, yes. Zeni's ascent of Eternit wasn't the first ascent. Manolo did the first ascent and graded it 9A. Zeni did the second ascent, apparently after several holds were broken, and graded it 9A+. So, hot topic, since maybe a hot topic in Italy. But apparently, yes, this route was first climbed by Manolo, and then Zeni went to try it, and then when he came back to try it again, some holds were clearly very different.
Had Manolo already climbed it when he...
Yeah, like it was climbed and graded. And then Zeni went to try it, or yeah, hopefully I'm remembering this correctly. Anyway, basically the holes were modified more than nature, as in of human nature modified. So whoever said that it was a first ascent, it was kind of a first ascent since the holds are different.
Yeah.
Kind of,
Yeah.
but that's all for discussion for who likes to chip holds and talk about the routes afterwards, which is just a bit of a shame, to be honest. But we're not saying who did it, who didn't do it, because we don't know. Nobody knows. We can only assume. That's it. That's it for the news show.
True. Thanks very much for joining us this week. Teresa was on fire.
Fire. I'll go take a nap. Bye-bye.